Hello everybody, and welcome to the first video of 2022. I want to start things off right by saying thank you. Thank you so much for the break you allowed me. The holidays are always really crazy, and I've got a bunch of added events and birthdays and stuff on top of all the normal holidays. So everything was much appreciated, and I'm really excited to get back into the swing of things. As you can probably kind of hear by my voice, I didn't exactly start the year off super strong health-wise. I got sick on the very first day of the year and have not quite recovered since, but I'm not letting that get me down, and it's going to be a great year. So yeah, here we are, and I'm really excited to make good on some of those projects I've been promising and stuff like that. So yeah, to start it off real strong though, I'm gonna get one of my favorite manga done and talked about, because not only is it a really strong thing to start the year off with and something that I'm very passionate about, but it also just got its first episode of its anime adaptation last week, and it is wonderful. Actually, one of the most perfect adaptations I've ever seen so far. And I've not seen all of the animes, of course, but it was really good, and I'll gush about it later or possibly in its own video. But for now, the manga of the week for this week and the first one of 2022 is Sonobisque Doll, or My Dress Up Darling. Now, some of you might have heard of this now because of its recent anime adaptation starting, but I have been tracking this manga for a very long time, and it is very near and dear to me, and so I'm very excited to finally be able to talk about it. So, for now, let's get a little bit more background on what this manga is about. It is about a shy young man named Wakana Gojo, and he is very passionate about making Hina dolls, which is a highly specialized type of Japanese doll that's typically used more of like a collectible than something your child would play with. And they're usually very expensive and very beautiful, and I'll throw a picture up if I can find a good one. But yeah, he is a high schooler, and he has devoted his entire life to making these Hina dolls, and he excels at making their clothes, but he still can't quite get the faces right with painting them. It's a very painstaking process, and he is just not quite the best at it yet, but he wants to be, because it is the most desirable facet of the Hina doll making process. But because of his kind of out there interests and passions with the Hina dolls, he has shut himself out from the rest of his peers and all of that at the high school, and because he's just afraid that no one is going to accept his kind of out there dreams and passions. Enter Kitagawa Marin, a bubbly Gyaru type girl who is basically the polar opposite of Gojo. She is very energetic and exaggerated and isn't afraid to talk about what she's interested in and what she likes and what she doesn't like. She's very straightforward. So she lives in what he calls the opposite world from me. But because of a strange encounter where she stumbles across him using the sewing machine at school, she reveals that she is in fact very interested in cosplay, actually, and wants to make and live out her favorite anime and game characters. But she's really not good at making clothes. Like, she's dreadful, actually. And Gojo tells her this in a fit of passion and then puts his face into the floor apologizing. But she, instead of being mad, is extremely excited about him and his Hina dolls and his clothes making skills specifically, and asks him if he would like to make cosplay clothes for her. Or the rest of it I will let y'all read, because it's wonderful, and there's more stuff that I need to get into. But y'all know me and my new format, so let's get into the breakdown. The story, I'm giving a 8.5 out of 10. The concept of this manga is not super uncommon. It's a dreary, outcast guy or girl gets dragged kicking and screaming into the world that they never thought they could be a part of, only to really find out that they belonged, of course, in that world in the first place. However, there's something just so magical about this manga, between the art and the storytelling and even the nerdy educational bits of it, and it all just kind of comes together for this powerful and fun romp through their coming of age. Characters, I'm giving a very high 9.5 out of 10. Again, because of the art and the storytelling, the characters in this manga really stand out. Even the kind of doormat protagonist, Gojo-kun, quickly stands on his own because of his passions, his skills, and his willingness to help out someone who actually put some faith into him and showed him that maybe his interests aren't as strange as it seems. But of course, I also want to gush about Marin a bit, because her design is just a wonderful example of the depth a character can get to, even by body language and confidence alone, I guess. Next we have art, which okay, transparency. I messed up the characters. It's a 9 out of 10. The art has a very high thing of 9.5 out of 10. My bad. I got excited. I am super biased about this manga, if you couldn't already tell. I'm giving everything really high scores so far, and I think it deserves it. The art is really just superb. I cannot wax eloquent enough about it because but I'm gonna try. The expressiveness of the characters, the masterful expression of the mangaka in terms of his knowledge of style and how clothes fit on characters and what poses can do, and even down to the panel layout. It's just made to draw your eye through all of the hard work that the characters and the mangaka are going through. It's so good. It's so good. It's good stuff. Man. Anyway. Setting. 7 out of 10. Yes, it's in Tokyo. Yes, they go to a high school all the time. But there's just enough diversity in the places they go, and like Comiket and their cosplay materials store, and I put a whole point on just for the Hina doll shop where Gojo lives because it is super cool. So yeah, setting 7 out of 10. Probably like the highest one you'll ever see. Not really, that's not true. We haven't gotten to like any fantasy stuff yet, except for reincarnated as a sword. Emotional impact, I give an 8 out of 10. This story is probably not going to be for everyone. It's probably not going to have emotional impact for everyone. It will probably actually come across as very plain and boring and tropey and rom-com, blah, blah. Even with the edutainment aspect of it, it's probably not going to appeal to everybody. But for me, it's just a really fine example of we in real life need to learn from their almost childlike abandon that they throw themselves at their dreams and their passions with. Because I feel like we just get really caught up in everything, and we lose the ability or the desire to pursue the things that seem unattainable at first. And I feel like it does a really good job of making you want to try for those things. And that is where all the emotion comes from for me, because it's got, of course it has emotional climaxes and stuff, but even just all the little victories put just the biggest, goofiest grin on my face and make me so determined to do stuff like this and pursue that just with everything I have. And that is a really special emotion to be able to portray, I think. So, lastly, and important as always, is the LEWD. TM. Patent pending. I don't know. I should. Anyway. This manga does land a solid 7.5 out of 10 on that again. It deals with a gal type girl, so she's very style focused. She hikes her skirt up too high, so sometimes the panties show when they're not supposed to. She has her cleavage out. She's very flashy. And in addition to that, you also get the added thing of this being centered around clothes and cosplay, and so you get skin showing from various cosplay, or from when measurements are being taken, or stuff like that. But I don't want that to turn people off of this manga, because while some of it, of course, is played up and all of that for the purpose of fan service, it's not the point of the manga, and I just would hope that it doesn't make people turn away from this because of how special I think. I'm a very selfish person. Oh well. Overall, this manga gets a staggering 9 out of 10 for me. I love this manga very much. It is very, very near and dear to me. It was one of the first manga I found. I really felt like I found it too, because when I found it, it only had like 3 chapters translated. This was 3 years ago probably now that I found it, and I just have watched it become more popular, and all of that has just really made it feel like a journey, and like I've been watching them go through all this stuff, and that's been really fun. That's been really, really fun. Now it has a very ripe 69 chapters. It's a very fun read, and I hope you will. And if you don't, I highly recommend the anime adaptation of it too, because it's only got 1 episode out, and you can just see how much the animators love this manga too, because they put a painstakingly obvious amount of effort into making it the perfect adaptation. They even use almost the same camera shots as the panel layout in the manga to just capture the feeling of it so well. And the fresh voice acting talent is already coming through even after just 1 episode. I cannot talk about it enough. I'm probably gonna have to make a whole nother video about the anime itself once a little bit more has come out and I can say that it kept that pace, or not pace, but kept that quality. I've got to stop talking. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm very excited, obviously, about this new year and new videos and everything. It's a really exciting time, and I hope that you all will stick with me and are looking forward to more. I've got my new series starting soon, the Anime Plug, so you can look forward to that. And I will see y'all next time. Goodbye. See ya. Johnny. No, I can't steal that one. That's someone else's. I don't know what to do with my hands.